here at the 2013 USA Outdoor Track and Field Championships with a Deanna Price, the Moscow Mills native and Troy graduate and sophomore at Southern Illinois, who last year just missed an NCAA trophy in the hammer throw here at Drake, and ended up at the U.S. Junior Nationals a year ago, taking second to earn a trip to Barcelona, Spain for the World Junior Championships. And let's talk a little bit about that before we get to success this year. Tell me, obviously seemed like last year it was so heartbreaking not to make that final and get those 3 extra throws at the NCAAs, and if I'm remembering correctly, and but you went on and tell me just about Junior Nationals and earning that second place finish and that trip on that Team USA spot for World Junior Champs.
It was very exciting. I was able to compete with the USA against the other nations, and it was probably the biggest success I've had ever as a thrower, and it was such an honor to be able to throw with all the other competitors, and they've all been on junior youth teams, and they've all had this tight bond.
Sure.
And it was really very exciting just to have everyone be so connected.
Right.
And it makes me really want to keep going, get on more teams, and be able to keep that bond with the other people. And hopefully Olympics, and then hopefully just break out and maybe be like Amanda Bigston one day.
Right.
Like the American world record.
Right. And tell me what that, I guess, if it hadn't sealed before, then surely when you made that U.S. junior team and you went to World Junior, surely that convinced you by then that making the choice of track and not softball was the right decision,
yeah.
huh?
Yes, softball, about for every position there's 2,000 girls.
Yeah.
You can do the exact same thing.
Right.
That could, go for it cheaper. Like, hey, I can do this also.
Sure.
So, but with hammer, it's a very unique sport, and it's very demanding of your time, and you have to put every second into it. If you don't, you're going to come up short just in centimeters, and it's very heartbreaking, but it's kind of reality check. If you don't put the time in, you're not going to get it, and then you're going to keep second guessing yourself. Did I put the time in? Did I do it right?
Sure.
If not, it's going to eat you alive for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Tell me, what was that like once it was official that you'd gotten second and we're headed to, you'd made the U.S. team and we're headed to the World Junior Champs? What was that feeling like?
Let's just say I ran over my mom and I hugged her as tight as I could.
Yeah.
I was very excited. It was an epic moment. I was just like, woohoo, yeah.
And then about the going through processing, and your mom texted me the pictures of you trying on the USA gear. What was that like?
I just had the biggest smile on my face. I can't even explain how excited I was about it.
Yeah.
It's just, I put it on, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm going for USA right now. And
right.
It's very exciting. Like right now we have Josh Freeman, shot putter, doing the same thing. And,
right.
And I'm just like, it's that moment where it sinks in and you're just like, I'm competing for USA.
Right.
And it's time to step up, be the best that you can be so you can keep competing for USA.
Right. Well, tell me what that trip and that experience was like, going over with the junior team and going over there and getting to compete against the world's best juniors. Tell me, just share a little bit about that experience.
Well, competing against them, it was, USA was just excited for me to go there.
Mm-hmm.
At that time I was only throwing for a year and a half. It was completely new to me. I went over there and, I think I got 18th over there. And the other girls that lost, they were sobbing, crying. I was just I cried too, but I wasn't, I knew that my country was still very proud of me for just going there and competing and showing them what I can do. But it's kind of that point where I'm like, hey, it's time for me to go there again and do better. Yeah. So I can be like, hey, I'm going to do this. I need to do this for myself and for the country. And
a lot of track and field athletes across the world, and that is track and field, or athletics as they call it, is so much higher on the priority scale than it is here in the U.S. We've got so many big major sports that pull people away from track and field, and across the world kids, such a higher percentage of kids are involved in athletics or track and field at a very young age, and so did you just enjoy that experience of being on the world stage and wearing that red, white, and blue?
Yeah, it was. When you're over there, everyone knows USA. They're like, USA, USA. And you're just like, yeah, it's very just happy feeling and moment that you know about it.
Tell me what you learned. Did you learn or gain anything from your experience over there in the World Juniors?
Make sure you eat a lot before you go over to different countries.
Yeah.
I dropped 10 pounds.
Oh my God.
I was over there. At the very end, actually, I dropped 15. It's that their food, they fed us, but they tried an American spin on it.
Right.
So
it wasn't really appetizing.
Yeah. But it was great. Our country's food is a lot more fattening.
Yeah.
So I went over there, I just dropped 10, 15 pounds. I was like, oh, okay, this isn't good. But, it takes a lot out of you when you lose that much weight in such a short time. It was 2 weeks, dropped that much weight. And I was trying to throw, and it wouldn't go. And it was very heartbreaking. Because I was like, man, I got here. And I was very disappointed in myself. But at the same time, I was like, hey, how many people get to say that they went to the Junior Worlds team, competed in Barcelona, Spain?
Right.
So, but
at the Olympic Stadium there, where the '92 games were.
I found that amazing.
Yeah.
It was so big. It was so beautiful, and every country was just showing their colors. It was pretty awesome.
And tell me, did you get to visit with Courtney Frericks very much, the Nixa native who ran the steeplechase? Freshman at UMKC. Did you get to meet her?
I met her. She's really nice.
Yeah.
She's really cool. And I just met a whole bunch of the other girls. Everyone was so sweet and nice. But man, whenever they get in their competition mode, it's like you don't talk to them.
Right.
You let them compete. Afterwards, if they do bad, you make sure you're out of their way for about 15 hours. So it was good though. It was very nice.
Anything that you learned or picked up from athletes or any coaches, or just being in that environment and the competition? Anything that you
don't ever get intimidated.
Yeah.
When they're there, they try to psych you out.
Sure.
You make sure that you stand your ground.
Right.
And you go after it.
Right.
100%. But the funniest thing is when we went to Barcelona, they said that it's a very reserved country. They covered everything. So when you go, they said, make sure you wear long pants or long shorts.
Sure.
Shirts covered.
Just the opposite.
Completely opposite. I went to the beach.
Yeah.
It was a nude beach. And let's just say, people that were nude were not supposed to be nude.
Yeah.
So, about 350-pound men and women walking around, you're just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to go on this side.
Well, tell me, after that experience and coming back this year as a sophomore, obviously had a good season and made your second straight NCAA meet and made the finals this time and finished 8th and earned your first NCAA trophy. Tell me about that experience and what that was like.
It was very exciting. I'm actually the first female in Carbondale's history to go to nationals and play to be an All-American their freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah.
So because it was 3 guys and then now me.
Right,
so
right.
I was very excited.
Well, that's very impressive considering the success of the SIU throwers. So.
Yes, I'm just going to step in the same footsteps as Gwen and Ginny.
Right.
They're all so close. I just have that feeling that I know I can get to that level, especially with their guidance and Coach John's guidance is awesome.
Right. And before you went to Junior Worlds, though, did Coach Smith or Coach Connie Price Smith have any, with all their international experience, did they have anything special for you? Any tips or anything, or was it pretty much a standard focus and
don't drink the water.
Okay.
Don't drink the water, Deanna. That's what they kept saying. Just don't drink the water.
Right.
And they were like, when you get there, they said, this is a good practice meet for you. They're like, you're just gonna see the environment, see how you do. They said we're proud of you no matter what, but they go, you have many more teams to make, and we have no doubt that you're gonna make them.
Right.
So they're like, if this is your learning experience, they go, we have no we expect you to do the best that you can do. But if you don't come home with that expectation, we're still proud of you.
Sure.
But then next thing I know, I come home, I go back into base training, just like how I come back to base training now.
Right.
Getting 8th place was exciting.
What was that like being up on that award stand as they announced your name and handed you that trophy?
I wanted it so bad. I wanted it so bad that I just, right before competition, I ended up pulling my glute muscle.
No.
Because in warm-ups, I was throwing the 5K hammer about 198,
okay.
which means I should have been throwing 67, 68 meters. And I
with the official weight, 4K is the
4K hammer
is the
8.8
regulation,
pounds.
right?
And I threw it, and I tweaked my glute muscle, and on the first throw, and then I could only throw at 63, and I was like, oh Lord, I gotta pick it up, I gotta go, and it was very scary because I was like, man, if I don't make this, I'm just gonna be crushed again.
Right, and second year in a row that you can't make, just miss the final,
That would have been heartbreaking. My teammate Kim, she did that this year. She ended up getting 10th place.
Right.
And it just
heartbreaking, devastating.
She's so great.
Yeah.
And like all the athletes that go through Carbondale are just so amazing.
Yeah.
And everything. And she went to nationals in shot put. We had Josh, who was a regional qualifier as a freshman, throwing over 60 feet.
Yeah.
JC Lambert, champion throwing. He got 5th at nationals.
Yeah.
You know, we're just like, we're stacked. Like, and we ended up being the #1 throwing school in the nation this year. So
it was a great year for the Salukis.
Yes.
Tell me about USA's, and obviously just done a little bit ago, and you said it was a little frustrating for you, and talk about how things went today for you.
I was very disappointed. You know, like I was in the mental state of like, no, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this, and then it lost my hammer.
So after you checked it in and they'd weighed it and they didn't bring it back to you when warm-up started, and you went to warm up and it was gone, huh?
It wasn't impounded.
Right.
It was not impounded. They're like, we don't know where it is. Like, it should be here. Are you sure this is it? I'm like, that's not it.
Yeah.
Like, I know my hammer. And they lost my hammer.
How much were you freaking out then?
I wasn't freaking out.
Were you able to stay relaxed?
Mad.
Yeah.
And the thing is, your hammer, you get comfortable with it. I throw it in practice, but you know, I throw in other hammers just in case that happens.
Sure.
So my good friend Brittany Smith, she let me borrow her hammer, and you know, first throw, you know, like first 2 throws you have to get used to it.
Sure.
Because you know, I was like, son of a gun, like the handle is completely different.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I was using the handle, I was going. Finally, the 3rd throw, I finally got it. I was like, okay, I have the feel for it.
Right.
I'm gonna go for it. I went for it, and I fouled a 67-meter throw.
Right.
Which would have got me into finals.
Okay. What is that, about
67 is about
220?
220.
Yeah.
So, but I have 2 more years of this.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to bring home Missouri.
Yeah.
Bring home Missouri, the big NCAA.
Well, we've got to keep the tradition going. This is 3 years in a row now. We've had 2 national champions with Brittany Borman and Maurice Mitchell, and then this year with Lindsay Vollmer in the heptathlon and Bethany Buell in the pole vault. So they'll both be back next year, and maybe you and Colleen Quigley and Emily Sisson can add to that. So
yes, I'm hoping I can just bring home the hard. Bring the hardware home.
Yeah.
Just bring it home, and then I'm hoping again against the USA's, I'll be able to go again and then compete and have my hammer and actually be able to do it.
Right. We'll have to check. I think one of these bins here in the officials table has hammer listed, so maybe they misplaced it there.
Maybe we'll see what happens to it. So. But it's, you know, I should have the ability to throw it anyway.
Yeah.
So it was also, you know, I don't have that experience competing with all those huge throwers, so I'll take some of the responsibility.
Yeah. Well,
it's very frustrating.
It's all a process, so.
It makes you very upset and hurt, and it's just like it starts eating you away. First you get really sad, and you get upset, and then you get angry afterwards. And I'm a really nice person.
Right.
That's not me, but it's just, it eats you away, and then you start going after it.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on the great year.
Thank you.
It sounded like I asked you, said you were going to try to find a good softball league to get into this summer, and stay safe. Don't mess up those knees or anything, or shoulders or
probably
joints.
Just be hitting the ball a little bit.
Yeah. So
that's about it.
Well, congrats on the season, and stay healthy, and hopefully have another stellar year next year, and just keep improving.
All right, thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a bunch, Deanna.